Hi everyone, it's Miss Elise from the Morristown and Morris Township Library, and today I have a little different of a video for you on how to accurately paint your nails with easily at home using kind of everyday supplies. So I'm just going to go through them a little bit here. You're going to need various different things such as a nail file or a buffer. Obviously these things aren't required. You can do a manicure easily with just a top coat, a base coat, and your polish. But these are what I use to create my nails every week. You also might want some nail clippers, or I prefer nail scissors because nail clippers are a little hard for me to work. And you might also want some cuticle pushers as well as some cuticle oil. I like Burt's Bees because it smells really, really nice. And of course, you're also going to want a top coat and a base coat. These are the two that I'm using, the Essie Gel Couture top coat and the Sally Hansen Hard as Nails nail hardener as my base coat. You also will need your polish, and I'm using this Expressi nail color here in like this mint green color. And then you may or may not also want a accent nail. For my accent nail, I wanted to go for a little bit of a more golden theme. So I'm not actually using this nude color on the right, but I will be using this gold. And last but not least, you're going to need a perfect guide on how to do your nails the best. This specifically is a little pamphlet from a company called Olive and June. They do nail polishes, and I received this in the mail recently. And it goes through a little bit on how to do a perfect manicure, from pro tips to the easy steps that it lists here in the pamphlet. And these are pretty similar to actually what I do to my own manicure at home. So I figured I would walk you through some of the steps in order to get your perfect manicure at home really easily. So we're going to start off with bare nails. These are my bare nails. They have no polish on them or a base coat or a shine or anything. This is just how they look when I take the polish off. This is the most opportune point and where you are going to prep your nails for the actual polish. Now, I recommend cutting your nails down about 90% of the way and then using a nail file like this one to create the exact shape that you want. I specifically use, I like rounded more shapes better than like square tips, but obviously whatever your preference is totally up to you. These are my round shaped nails. As you can see, I've already filed them down and they're looking pretty good. The next step, obviously, would be to push back your cuticles. Now, this can be kind of a scary procedure, but it doesn't really hurt. It doesn't hurt whatsoever. This is just a small tool that's going to push back the dead skin at the base of your nail bed and make sure that it's really ready and primed for nail polish. As you can see, my cuticles are being pushed back quite easily, and it doesn't hurt. You can see the difference here between my left and right nail and how much more prepped the left looks from the right, which hasn't been pushed yet. So I'm just going to go ahead and push back all of my cuticles here. It's a good idea to maybe soak your hands or wash your hands with warm water before you do this, just so that way it's even easier for you to push back your cuticles if you decide to do so. This is a completely optional step, but I really like the way that it looks, and I do it every week and it hasn't caused me problems since. So yeah. Now that we've pushed back all of our cuticles, we have some dead skin on there. So this is a nail buffer. I'm going to be using this side. It has 4 sides, however, just to give you the best buff for your nails. I'm only going to be using the even out side, but what you're going to do is you're just going to run it over your nail and cuticle, just so that way everything kind of is evened out and you get all of that dead skin off of there. This also really helps to prep your nail to, as you can see, the buffer takes off the shine, and so it's very matte. But buffing your nail, as I was saying before, is really good to adhere your polish to your nail, because it creates a more rough surface for the polish to actually stick to, and therefore is going to increase the longevity of your manicure, which is always incredibly important because it is such a hassle sometimes. So you can see the left nail is prepped, so I'm going to be doing my right hand now. So now is the time where we get to talk about polish. This is the color that I'm going to be using. It's 310 by Essie. This is also a quick dry nail polish, which is what I'm going to be using today. And this is also my base coat. It is a Sally Hansen Hard as Nails nail hardener because I tend to have really brittle nails just naturally, so this is what I'm going to be using as my base coat. And to apply this, it's really easy. You're just going to do one stripe in the middle and then work your way out from right to left. And don't forget to cap it off at the nail top. This is going to ensure that you're going to have a really smooth manicure and also be able to get the rectangular foot throughout your entire nail, even though it is not the same shape. That is probably the most hard part of applying nail polish, is really making sure not to go over the lines or under the lines, and really to get that perfect application. I am right hand dominant, so doing my manicure on my right hand is a little more difficult for me, but don't worry if your non-dominant hand is also not as good to use for a manicure. You can always go back later with a Q-tip and some nail polish remover just to clean up the edges and make you have a perfect looking manicure in no time. It takes a lot of practice to actually really get your non-dominant hand to work well in such a way, but doing little things like that is really going to help improve your situation. So I'm just finishing up my base coat here. Do not forget to tap it off at the top. That's probably one of the most important parts because it ensures that you seal the entire nail. So now I'm going to be applying my color. So I'm going to be using this color. You want to make sure that you shake it beforehand so that way all of the polish is mixed together and nothing is like down at the bottom instead of the top, kind of a deal. Usually there's a little ball on the inside, and if you can hear it shake, it's a good sign that your polish is good to go. So what I'm going to do is virtually the same thing. I want to make sure I get a light coat, so I'm just going to start from the middle and then work my way up on the sides. So you're just going to make sure to be really slow when you do this and to cap the tops as well. That way you're going to be sealing the whole nail and you're going to be getting your perfect manicure. You're going to want to do a couple coats of this polish color, especially if you are wearing more of an opaque color or a nudish color, with one that matches your skin tone. It's always really nice to go for a 2 really light first coats and then one a little bit of a heavier third coat. So you can see here I'm applying my second coat and on both nails, just because it's going to give more of a polished look. So now that we have all of our nails done in this beautiful mint green color, which I'm in love with, I'm now going to do a little bit of nail art just to spice it up a little bit because it is so much fun. So I'm going to be taking this Insta-Dry gold color and going to be doing a little bit of a minimalistic nail art. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make sure I have quite a bit of polish at the bottom of my brush, and I'm just going to go straight across and do like a half nail effect with the gold and the mint color. You can't really see what I'm doing, so I'm sorry about that. But I'm just kind of making sure I have a straight line going on, and it looks more neat and tidy, as you can see here. If you want, you can also use a little bit of tape if your nails are fully dry, and to put it across so that way you can get a much straighter line than I did. But it's not necessary, of course. I'm also going to be doing a bit of a diagonal shape on my pointer finger. So you can see here, I just kind of angled the brush in such a way where it was able to glide down more on my nail than going straight across like we did before. Obviously doing a straight across nail would be really lovely too, but I really wanted to spice it up, so that's why I went with something a little different. So now comes the tricky part. I have to replicate what I've done on my right hand to what I've done on my left hand to my right hand. If you aren't as... Oh, before we get to that though, I am going to be finishing up with a straight line across my nail. It turned out a little wonky, but you can use things like a Q-tip or a pencil, the tip of a pencil. I'm using my cuticle pusher here just to help you kind of guide that extra paint along your nail. They do make little tools for this. I don't know exactly what they're called, but they do work. So I do highly recommend using something like that, but household items also work very well for the same thing. So I'm just doing that here. It didn't quite go as I had planned. It's a little wonky, but that's okay. So now I have to replicate this on the opposite side, which will be a little bit tricky, but the guides of using tape might help you a little bit better in the early stages of doing nail art. It's okay too if your non-dominant hand is not perfect at doing these. Obviously, manicures are something that takes a lot of work and time and progress to really put into, but whatever you create is absolutely going to make a difference. So now I'm going to just be using my top coat to finish everything off. Make sure you cap it at the top so that way it lasts for a little more than a week if you're able to, and make sure everything is completely dry after you've done this, otherwise it's going to just be a rough time. But with that in mind, I hope your manicures turn out really well too, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!